welcome back to my channel. Just so you know, for that one person or those two persons who are watching this video, I am so appreciative for your support. Do not think that I take the fact that you took some of your time to just be in partnership with me on this channel. Do not think that I take it for granted, because I know that your time is important, and the fact that you stopped by, it means a whole lot to me. Thank you. And just for my sake, you're already watching, just drop a comment. Help with the analytics on YouTube so that they see that there are some persons who have even a little bit of interest in my video. So drop a comment, man, drop a like, and try to watch to the end. You may not watch it to the videos to the end right away, but at least try to play the videos to the end, and so that I'll get some more watch time. Anyway guys, that part aside, to the video at hand. So you know we're heading into the silly season, another silly season, which is the Valentine period. And so if you know, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I like to talk about relationships. You know that I love love. And you also know that, as we call it in Jamaica, I love man and woman stories. So that's me. If you speak to me in person, we can have a conversation about relationships forever, because that is one of my favorite topics. No shame about it. And so this afternoon I'm going to do a book review. So in the same breath, I'm just gonna encourage you to try to do some reading. It is well and good to read on the internet, but I think that if someone takes time out to write a book, it takes a little bit more work, it takes a little bit more effort, and chances are they probably know a little bit about what they're talking about. Not all the time all the books make sense, but I think when somebody writes a book, there's a little bit more research, a little bit more time that is taken to get that information. Anybody can put anything on the internet. You can easily just put a blog and it's easy. 1, 2, 3, you type up something and put it up. But in terms of going to the publication, doing all of that, editing, binding the book, all of those things, it takes time, it takes work, and therefore the quality of the information, I think it is sometimes better, and in my estimation, probably more credible. So the book we're talking about today is The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. So this book has been on the New York bestsellers list since 2009, and there are many persons who swear by this book. Personally, what I love about this book is that it is easy to read or easy to listen to. The language is very clear and straightforward. So for me, communicating in a straightforward manner is very important. I do not like anything that goes around the bush. I do not like anything that I have to be trying to decipher what the person is trying to say. I like books, I like reading things that are very straightforward. So for me, this was one of the major pluses with this book. It's not a very long book. I listened the first time I read it. I'm not sure how long it took to read. The second time around, I listened to it on Audible. It was like 4 hours, right? Meaning it's not a very long book. So those are two pluses for me. First, it is very straightforward, easy to understand language, and secondly, it is not very long, right? Gets to the point, uses real life examples, and just gets to where you need to go. Thirdly, I said it a while ago, it gives real life examples. So this gentleman, he is a marriage counselor, and he gave some of the examples of how his work had assisted persons. So I am going to just give you a synopsis of the book, because I still encourage you to read the book. This particular book is the first edition was made for married people. Now people wondering, oh, why would I read the book? Because you're not married. But guess what? It was the first edition, the first book that I knew about. I didn't even know that he had a singles edition, which afterwards I came to find out about after I had read the original. I realized that he has a singles edition to it. He has a male version to it. He also has a children's version to it. So the concept, I understand, the general concept is the same, but he has tailored it to various audiences. He would give examples that relate to those specific demographics. But let us get into it. There was one very profound question that he asks at the beginning of the book. And he says it's a question that a lot of persons who came to him for counseling asked him. The question is, what happens to love after the wedding? What happens to love after the wedding? And he was saying that based on his research, realistically, on average, there are 2 years of this blissful falling in love, euphoric aspect of love, right? That almost can't eat, can't sleep kind of love. We have to talk to each other for the entire day. When I'm not with that person, I'm still thinking about them. The thing that drives you. We have to see each other all the time. That kind of euphoria. And everybody, for anyone who has ever fallen in love, you know that aspect, the very first part of the relationship, where it's almost like, oh my God, can it get any better than this? He says on average, that part of the relationship lasts for probably 2 years. 2 years. And he says if it is like a forbidden relationship, one of those relationships that, you know what a forbidden relationship is, it might last a little longer. But on average, it lasts for 2 years. And a lot of people go into marriage with the expectation that that feeling is going to last. He also says there are some things that persons think, oh, yes, I see people who are having a substandard marriage and the fire has gone out. But for my marriage, it's going to be different. For our marriage, it is, even if we come to some blows in terms of, we come to disagreements, we will be able to talk it out and we will not, no man. Others it happen, but for us, the way we feel about each other, I know that it is going to be different for us. And those are some of the misconceptions that he says that's really a fallacy, that is really a fairy tale. It is not realistic. And that high does not last forever. He says that based on his research, he realizes that there are also love languages. Just as how there are different languages, we have the English speakers, we have the French speakers, Japanese speakers, Spanish speakers, and all of that. There are different love languages. So, if I am an English speaker, it is going to be very difficult for me to communicate with someone who speaks Japanese, for example. If I have no clue about Japanese, I can do hand gestures, eye gestures, and do all kind of things, but in order to have a full meaningful communication, it is going to be difficult for me to speak to a Japanese speaker unless I learn their language. And even when I learn their language, that language is going to be a second language to me. I can learn it fluently, but it will never be my first language. So it's gonna take more effort for me to maintain my Japanese speaking than it would be for me to maintain my English speaking, because I'm a natural English speaker. And so when he puts it that way, I started to look and say, yes, there's some truth to that. And so he says that you could be the most loving person in the world in your language. So you think that the way you are showing love, based on how you know how to show love, based on how you want it to be, you want to be showing love, you could be pushing that to the person that your love interest, and they still feel like they are not being loved fully. And so this has led him to talk about the 5 love languages. And I'm getting there, people. I'm getting there. I am setting the foundation for what we're going to talk about, so I can expose you to the 5 love languages if you've not been exposed as yet. What is the first love language that he mentions? First love language that he speaks about is words of affirmation. So there are some persons who thrive on a compliment. There are some persons when you tell them something nice, when you affirm them, it's like, wow, you did such an excellent job. I really appreciate how you are able to just have so much compassion for the children. You just know the right things to do. Like some things that you do, I wouldn't even think of doing it. So that is the first love language that he speaks about. And where some people don't understand, I mean, me don't want no empty words. Word is wind. You hear some word is wind. And some of those persons, even though it is not true, because they really want to get a little compliment, but to some people, words don't really make much of a difference to them. We're not talking about flattery now. We're talking about meaningful compliments, meaningful words of affirmation, meaningful words that build somebody up. We're not talking about gassing up somebody now. We talk about gassing up somebody. You know that it is not deserved, but you're saying something because you want to almost guilt them into doing what you want them to do. We're not talking about that. We're talking about genuine words of affirmation, genuine words of appreciation for who this person is and how this person acts and the things that this person does. Kind words, not only the words that you say, but how the words are said. So for somebody whose love language, whose main love language is words of affirmation, words that are negative words can really tear them down. We're moving on to number 2. So we took a little time on the words of affirmation. And I got a little bit faster now. Spending quality time. Spending quality time. That is the second love language. Spending quality time coupled with having quality conversations. So those times when you spend with that person, right? There are persons who love to spend time together. You don't bother compliment me. Yes, I bought a new dress and I look good in the new dress, but that doesn't and you say, wow, you look so stunning. Wow, I love your new hairstyle. But for that person whose love language is spending time, that will fall flat on the ground. Yes, they will like it, but if you are just saying that and you are not taking them out. Yes, they buy the new dress, but chances are they bought the new dress because they wanted to take them somewhere to wear the new dress. Get what I'm saying? So persons spending quality time, going for drive. So spending quality time, having quality conversations, actually listening to how the person's day is, and that is big. For some persons, they're telling you about the day. They do not want solutions. They do not want you to give them ideas. They just want you to listen. They just want you to empathize with them, to say, yes, I really feel for you that you had to go through that situation. So, second love language, quality time, which includes quality conversation. We're moving right along. Third love language is acts of service. And if you notice, my tone has changed a little bit. Acts of service. So, why my tone has changed? Because this is one of my love languages. Acts of service. And this can be simple things. Simple doing things for people. Doing things for that person. The offering help to your spouse in the house, offering to, if you have children, offering to help to care for the child as a man, because there are times when, based on how you are socialized, you think that there are certain things that are the primary responsibility of the female, and so you have no interest in doing certain things, but just offering a little assistance. For example, for a male, he probably likes to get a nicely cooked dinner. He likes a nice home cooked meal. Yes, why not? That is what he likes. That is what he appreciates. That is how he feels loved. No, that's not going to fly for everybody. Some people is neither here nor there. They'll grab something on the road, they'll come home and cook. But if that is how your husband likes to be served, acts of service, if that is his love language, listen to his love language, and you will hear his love language a lot based on some of the things that he complains about. For me, I like acts of service. There are things that I don't like to do. For example, I don't like to interface with like mechanics. So to get my car serviced, to get my car stuff like those, I like to delegate that to someone else. Take the car to the car wash for me, please. Take my car to the mechanic for me. There are certain things that I don't like to have to deal with workmen. I don't like to have to deal with workmen in terms of plumbers and those kind of people, because there are times I find, let me not even go there, but there are certain people that I really do not like to deal with, because based on the fact that I'm a female, a lot of time they think that they want to pull a fast one on you, they want to overcharge you, and certain things like that. So there are things that if you can do certain things like that for me to get it off my plate, I really appreciate those things. He gives suggestions, right? Suggestions as how you can carry out acts of service. So read the book. I'm not going to give away everything. So number 4, and I smile at number 4 again, because this is one of my primary, I think this is probably my primary love language, gift giving. And so you understand when we say gift giving, you understand it means to give a gift, right? So there's something important that he spoke about, though. He didn't only speak about presents as in terms of presents. He also speaks about presence. Separate and apart from spending quality time, he spoke about how important it is for you to give your time, to give your presence as a gift to persons. Certain persons are going through some difficult time to just be there with them. So for persons whose main love language is gift giving, he says your presence, especially in difficult time, can be a big gift for them. And I found that very interesting. But yes, gift giving. For somebody whose major love language is gift giving, it does not matter what the price of the gift is. It's just about the thoughtfulness. And persons whose love language is gift giving, they don't want to wait on only, yes, they want the Christmas gift, yes, they want the Valentine gift, yes, they want the birthday gift, but they like those odd gifts that comes at some time that, you aren't thinking about. They like the fact when you go somewhere and you just see, you went outside and you saw a nice little flower, a nice little bloom, you pick it and you take it. Stuff like that. I like those kind of stuff. And for me, the more personalized the gift is, means that there's thought that is put in it. It didn't just go because everybody has this. The thing that is personalized for me, it means that it was thought about and it was definitely for me, right? So I realize, let me just start this. So these love languages is not limited only to romantic relationship. I'm just giving you an example. I remember back in the day, one of my friends, it was her birthday. You might be watching this and you might know yourself, but anyway, it was her birthday. Planned a nice little excursion with me and some other friends. Planned a nice excursion. We went out and we bought a cake and everything. It was just a nice little getaway and we had fun. And at the end of it, she was like, so where is the gift? And at that time I was like, what? But the party and everything, that is the gift. That was just to understand. No, I'm reflecting. I understand her love language is gift giving. So no matter how you do everything and you feel that it isn't, all of those things are enough, her love language is gift giving. So she is still looking for that tangible gift that she can look on to say, on this day, on this my 20th birthday, I got this gift from my friends. And that is it. So when we understand persons' love languages, we will learn to communicate with the ones that we love. So we're moving on to number 5 now. Number five. So number 5 is physical touch. Because physical touch is a love language. For the persons whose love language is physical touch, abuse, physical abuse, and so it's even more devastating for them because they thrive on being patted, they thrive on holding hands, being hugged, being touched in such a way that feeds their emotions. And he speaks about a love tank, almost like a gas tank. You know, if your gas tank is empty, if your oil in your car is empty, your car is going to encounter a problem. So it's just the same way when persons, their love tank is not full, the relationship encounters problems. So physical touch, some persons thrive on physical touch. You have some persons who are just huggy, touchy, feely, always hugging, always holding hands and all of that. Yes, sexual relationship is a part of physical touch, but he explains that because a lot of male, for them, sexual relationship is so important, it does not necessarily mean that their main love language is physical touch. Because in the book it says that if somebody that's basically their only time that they really want to be physically touched, it means that their main love language is not necessarily physical touch, but physical touch, patting on the back, you have some people just huggy, and they like to hug, and then they will see me now and they'll come, hugging, and I'm like, okay, because I'm not a huggy person. If you know me, you know I'm not a huggy person, I'm not a touch. So I mean, I'm one of those persons who has been physically distancing for a while. Way before COVID, I've been physically distancing way before COVID because I'm just not one of those huggy, touchy kind of persons. And some people don't understand and they think, oh, she's standoffish and she whatever. No, it's just that's not necessarily my love language. And so, right. And so he made something profound also. Because as I said that he not only speaks about love interest or intimate relationship, he has a book on 5 love language of children. He said that a slap in the face, it's very disrespectful and it is really bad for anybody because nobody wants that. But especially children, if their love language is physical touch and you slap them in the face, it really has a negative impact on them. So 5 love language. Last love language I said physical touch. And so no, it's very important. Saying all of this to say this, it is very important for you to figure out what your love language is. But there's usually a primary love language or 1 or 2 that are basically at the top of the list. Find out firstly what is your love language, and next find out what is your partner's love language. You might have already found it out. If you found it out, speak in that language to that person, right? Because it makes no sense for you to be giving gifts to a person, and you buy the most expensive, you buy the most thoughtful gift, and you give to that person every single time. But that person's love language is words of affirmation. You've never said anything affirming. You've never given them a compliment. You've never done any of that thing. That person is still going to feel unloved because you're not speaking in their love language. Sounds almost absurd. And people, a lot of times, it is also what he also points out is a lot of time persons usually speak in their love language. So because I love gifts and because I love acts of service, I like to extend that to other persons, when in truth and in fact the other person's love language may not necessarily be that. So I would then have to go about, suppose the other person's love language is physical touch, I would have to go about, come out of my norms, come out of what I know, and to go ahead and learn that person's love language in order to have a good and fulfilling relationship. I hope that was helpful. And people, if this was of any benefit to you, please comment, please make your suggestions, and please, if there's another book that you want me to review, because you can't bother to read it and you want me to read it and tell you what it says, you can also drop a comment. Thank you for watching, guys. Remember, I crave your support, but I thank you for continuing to support this channel. Watch, subscribe, like, comment, and share. Bye bye.